arm is attached. The two are joined together. As the arm is activated, mechanical fingers immediately moved. The man was stunned by the scene in front of him. Then, he picked up the marble. The feel of the hand is so real. After the consent of the person in charge, he put the marble in his hand and force. Marbles instantly turned into crumbs. Jenny was also shocked by the arm. Then the man grabbed the sand, found that the mechanical arm's perception, even better than his own hands, and the artificial skin made of spider silk, and can withstand 1,000 degrees of heat. And that's when, the man who had lost both arms, suddenly made a request. He asked if he could touch Jenny's hand. Jenny immediately said no problem, but William suddenly stopped. He was afraid that the robot arm would lose control, may inadvertently hurt Jenny, but Jenny was not worried and said, "He will not hurt me." Then she put her hand in the palm of the robot. This familiar feeling makes the man feel relieved. Just then an accident happened. The man grabbed Jenny. He pulled her aside. The man asked Jenny to save him, and said in the 6th district. The man in charge came over. He apologized and said he was too excited. And although Jenny was very confused, but still chose to help the man to hide the secret, in order to solve the mystery in his mind. Jenny that night in the system, she found the location of District 6, but the information inside needs to be verified, so she sneaked into District 6. She was shocked by the scene in front of her. There were disabled soldiers imprisoned here, and they were being watched like prisoners. But what Jenny didn't know was, she would pay the price for her life of darkness. They also have to cooperate in various human experiments. Jenny was stunned by all this, so she approached the leader William. He asked his questions, and William told Jenny, "This base has many secrets. If you don't want to get hurt, don't ask questions." Then, on their way home, William told the truth about this place. He was sick and tired of the inhumane experiments, and the only reason he stayed here was to create an artificial brain for his daughter. To create an artificial brain, so that his daughter can live a normal life. Just then, a man in red appeared not far away. Thinking he was looking for the soldier's family, Jenny rushed forward to ask, but the next moment, a dagger was stabbed at Jenny. William was also knocked out by the man behind him. Jenny died instantly, and the person who planned this incident was the head of the experimental base, David. Since Jenny found out the secret of the 6th district, David was on the list of people to be killed. He would not allow the secrets of the base to leak out, so he arranged a killer to kill Jenny. Then David found William. He told him that the attack was the work of the enemy. He would send his own men to keep William safe. William knew it was all David's doing, but for the sake of his daughter, William again chose to put up with it. Then David asked William, use Jenny as an experiment to make a robot. William had no choice but to agree. He put Jenny's preserved consciousness into the cyberbrain, put the cyberbrain into the robot's body, when the match was complete, and then the blood was transferred to the robot's body. When the blood was finished, the robot with a flesh and blood body is complete. William cuts through the protective film. After opening the protective film on the head, the robot looked just like Jenny. Then William gave the activation command. The robot Jenny was activated. I thought the robot would attack as ordered, but Jenny acted very kind. She was even afraid of hurting anyone. This makes the person in charge, David, is not satisfied, because the purpose of this experiment is to create a war machine. In order to activate Jenny's desire to kill, David directly brought his murderer, and brought him to him. But when confronted with her murderer, Jenny's reaction is surprise, but only yelled at him. This did not satisfy the head of David, so he asked his men to throw a dagger. But in the face of the killer's frenzied attack, Jenny only tried to block the attack, just to incapacitate him. And William's daughter was already critically ill. He had no choice. He first backed up his daughter's brain to the computer, although after the doctor's treatment, but William's daughter still unfortunately died. The grief-stricken William returned to the lab to vent. To his surprise, Jenny comforted her. Realizing Jenny's unusual reaction, William hurriedly dilated Jenny's pupils, found that all the photos stored were himself. This means that Jenny has an autonomous consciousness, but also has feelings. But when William reported the news to David, David was not the least bit interested. Instead, he asked William to take out Jenny's chip. He only needed a killing machine. Seeing William's unwillingness to cooperate, David threatened to delete William's daughter's data, and William, under duress, he had to do what David wanted, remove Jenny's consciousness chip. But after William's surgery, David did not keep his word. Not only did he delete the data of William's daughter, and even put William in a dark room, then they conducted tests on Jenny, and after the surgery, Jenny perfectly triggered the instinct to kill. Several soldiers were beaten in the blink of an eye. To make sure the experiment was safe, he had to conduct a final test on Jenny. He had his men send William over. He told Jenny to point her gun at William, with the order to shoot. Jenny immediately pulled the trigger, but there was no bullet in the gun. Just when they thought the experiment was a success, one of the experimenters discovered by accident. William took out the locator power, instead of the consciousness chip. Then he reported to David. When David checked the video of the experiment, he saw Jenny smiling. Realizing that the robot had learned to lie, David immediately ordered to surround Jenny. By now, William had been saved by Jenny. He quickly went to the control room, ready to get back his daughter's brain data. But just as the data was about to be transferred, the researcher pointed a gun at him and asked him to fix the controller. The moment of truth. The man with the bionic arm suddenly appeared. A punch to the researchers invalidated, and Jenny drew all the firepower. Although the soldier's firepower was very fierce, but still Jenny was sent to heaven. David threw a grenade at Jenny. Jenny reacted by picking it up and throwing it back. Then Jenny rushed into the room. David sent to heaven. Jenny saved the brain data of William's daughter. With the explosion of the central processing unit, the base could no longer make new robots. William's daughter could only live in the computer. Looking at Jenny standing in the sunset, William knew that the time had come for robots. This is the